Hi folks, welcome to ElixElite, and today we'll be answering that all-important question: what happens when life gives a bartender a lemon? We make sours, of course. Sours are a cocktail family of zesty, refreshing drinks combining a spirit, citrus, and sugar. In this video, we'll chat about the origins of the sour, break down its anatomy, as well as share some recipes, techniques, and modern twists. But first up, just a little bit of boozy history. A sour is one of the traditional families of mixed drinks. The first written recipe comes from the grandfather of bartending, Mr. Jerry Thomas himself. He wrote about it in his 1862 book, How to Mix Drinks. Many drinks from this era were popularized through word of mouth and often had medicinal origins. In the case of the sour, we actually have the British Navy to thank. To help combat scurvy and malnutrition on long voyages, sailors would drink grog, which was easily preserved rum, and then it was mixed with lime juice, providing much needed vitamin C. This led to sailors adopting the nickname limeys and delightful phrases such as "too many and you'll be groggy in the morning." Gin and brandy sours were popular in the bars of London and Paris. By the 1870s, American whiskey sours had become all of the rage. Although history shows a dip in classic cocktail appreciation between the 1970s till the early 90s, today, the whiskey sour reigns as king of the bar. So now you know the story, but how do you make one? At the heart of every sour is a simple formula: spirit, citrus, and sweetener. Being a classic cocktail, the spirit will always shine as the star of the drink. But how do you balance out our other contenders? The pure power of mighty citrus versus the granulated gladiator sugar. There are many different ratios out there. The most common from the early noughties is 60 ml of spirit, 30 ml citrus juice, and 15 sugar syrup. Or more simply put, 3 parts strong, the booze, 2 parts sour, and 1 part sweet. A more contemporary ratio is dubbed the golden ratio, or 60 ml of spirit, 30 citrus, and 30 ml sugar syrup. This ends up creating a much sweeter cocktail. When building your sours, focus on the quality and type of your ingredients. Always aim to use freshly juiced citrus. If using sweeteners like honey or maple syrup, try diluting them to a 1-to-1 ratio with water. This provides more control over how much sweetness ends up in your finished drink. Ultimately, ratios are there to guide you, but the result is always down to personal preference. Keep in mind the goal of a sour is to maintain a bright, refreshing, and slightly dry drink, much more suited to cleansing the palate than to have as dessert. To craft a brilliant drink, you'll need the right tools. The ElixElite subscription sets you up with a stylized kit designed by experienced bartenders. It'll help get you started. For sour cocktails, we utilize a shaker to properly incorporate citrus juice and sugars, as well as introducing dilution and aeration. In our kit, we use a Boston shaker, a 2-piece set of different sized tins, which is popular with bartenders for its versatility and volume. At home, you may be more familiar with the cobbler shaker, a style designed with a base tin, a lid with an incorporated strainer, and a cap for the top of the strainer. While this style is often more comfortable for beginners, it provides less flexibility in the long term. Depending on your familiarity, try shaking with water and ice to get a feeling for your first time. Soon, you'll be shaking it like a drumline in a marching band. Now we're ready to pour out our delicious cocktail. We will utilize 2 different strainers from our kit. Firstly, the Hawthorne strainer, which is used to prevent large chunks of ice from falling into the drink. And secondly, the tea strainer. It's a fine mesh strainer and it helps catch shredded herb and small ice chips, ensuring flawless presentations of your finished drink. For sours, freshly squeezed juice is a must and will always make a more refined drink. When making 1 or 2 drinks at a time, citrus can be juiced over a jigger using a handheld juicer to get the correct quantity. If you're making multiple cocktails or if you prefer organizing in advance, consider juicing in larger quantities with an electric juicer. You're likely already familiar with many different drinks from the sours family, including margaritas, daiquiris, Tom Collins, gin fizz, and of course the favored whiskey sour. Today, we're going to be showing you how to make a Southside. First up, we're going to start with 50 ml of Eventide Distillery Gin. This is their Reflection Gin, beautifully light, delicate, and vibrant. 25 ml of our lime juice, and 15 ml of sugar syrup. Next up, we want to take 6 to 8 mint leaves and give them a firm spank. This actually helps release the oils. A quick rigorous shake and you're ready to strain into your glass. When making sour cocktails like this, remember to shake hard and fast. This is going to help combine all of your ingredients without any over dilution of your drink. These timeless recipes are great foundations, so don't forget to taste and adjust accordingly. Now that we have our basic sour down, we can start customizing. Although not a necessary element of a sour, adding an emulsifier has become so popular in modern bars. You rarely see a gin or whiskey sour without a rich, creamy foam at the top. Its success lies in the contrast between the bright, tangy taste of the sour and with that silken, creamy mouthfeel of the foam. When ordering a sour in a modern bar, this version will almost always be what's served. Egg whites or even whole egg are used to obtain this texture. They add nutrients and richness to the drink. To some, the idea may seem strange, but consider it like adding whipped meringue to your cocktail. But how is this achieved? Introducing the dry shake. This is a technique where the ingredients, including egg white, are added to a tin and shaken without ice. This prevents dilution and allows air bubbles to whip the drink into a foam. Ice is then added for a second shake to chill and dilute the finished cocktail. For those who dislike the taste of egg or have allergies, have no fear. There are a plethora of alternatives on the market or even found at home. Products like Wonderfoam are commonplace in venues, but other alternatives such as aquafaba, otherwise known as chickpea juice, or sometimes even pineapple juice can be used. Aquafaba has a slightly nutty quality and pairs well with spirits like rum, pisco, and American whiskies. Pineapple juice foams up well in a shaken drink. Just be sure to adjust for acidity and sweetness. But wait, there's always more. Now that you have a handle on the basics, let's chat about other twists and variations. Swapping out your basic gin or whiskey for a more uncommon spirit, such as mezcal, pisco, or cachaça, is an excellent way to broaden your palate and develop your drinking experiences. You may even decide on a high ABV or alcohol by volume liqueur, such as Cointreau, Chartreuse, or Drambuie as your base. As always, remember to adjust for the liqueur's sweetness. Speaking of sweetness, you're not limited to simple sugar syrup. Experimenting with agave nectar for tequila and mezcal sours, or making honey and jam syrups for gin and whiskey sours can be a really easy way to elevate your drink. When using other sweeteners, we recommend creating a syrup beforehand for usability and consistency. Alternatively, using herbs or spices from your kitchen can result in more complex creations. The Southside cocktail is simply a gin sour which adds mint leaves into the mix. You could always try adding your own spices to a rum that you have at home to create a personalized spiced rum for a daiquiri. Don't be afraid to experiment. I'll tell you this much, not even bartenders get it right every time. It's all about play and discovery of new flavors and combinations. Thanks to Gen Zers and their more health-conscious attitudes to drinking alcohol, we've seen the rise of the mocktail. With so many non-alcoholic products on the market, it is easier than ever to make delicious mocktails at home. Companies like Lyre's, Sipsmith, and Forged Drinks all represent some great examples of non-alcoholic spirits. Other alternatives include using teas or homemade tinctures and cordials to replace your base spirit. When choosing a non-alcoholic base, it's important again to remember to balance the acidity and sweetness accordingly. The goal of this replacement is to mimic the heat or the kick of the alcohol. Try looking for alternatives with strong flavors, such as a smoky lapsang tea or a non-alcoholic gin with powerful herbal notes. Want to try out your cocktails with food? Pairing cocktails at the dinner table is always going to impress your guests. Light-style sours with gin or white rum go beautifully with appetizers like bruschetta or shrimp. For mains, try them with a grilled chicken salad, tacos, or even chimichurri steaks. Heavier sours, with bases of whiskey or rum, have a slightly elevated sweetness, which suits them to charcuterie boards. The acidity cuts through marbled meats and creamy cheeses whilst complementing sweet fruit pastes and jams. You could always try a personal favorite of mine, a smoky whiskey sour paired with fresh oysters? It's the ultimate decadence. Sours are not only suited to pairing with dinner, but can be a star palate cleanser between each dish. Using them as an aperitif between dinner and dessert is an excellent way to keep the party going. So there you have it, folks. We hope you've learned to love and appreciate this versatile classic cocktail and enjoy experimenting at home. Give us a shout out with your fabulous creations. Tag us at ElixElite Cocktail Club on Instagram. And if you've got any further questions, our spiritual advisors are always here to answer your call. Watch out for our next subscription box for new local products and produce, and we'll dive into another new category of exciting drinks. My name's Olivia, and on behalf of Elix-Elite, thank you so much for watching our video. And remember, your bar, your way.